New York City right now is absolutely getting hammered. They have too many migrants, 180,000 people, guys. That's almost 200,000. It's like stuffing a small suburban city into New York City where people are already packed like sardines. New York City does not have any more money for the migrant crisis. They're going to be spending $12 billion. In fact, it's going to be a little bit more than that to the end of 2025. So you told me like a year and a half, they're going to spend about $12 billion. You're going broke fast. You're going broke really quickly. This is not something cities should be doing. New York City, many people have already started protesting from Harlem to Park Slope, Brooklyn. Many residents are very unhappy about the migrant situation. Check this out. Mayor Adams is eyeing executive order on the migrant crisis. You got the New York City, Eric Adams, exploring other legal avenues after the city council rejects changes to sanctuary policies aimed at deporting migrants accused of crimes. Now, people were also very curious about why Adams, the mayor of New York City, who is a big advocate for New York to be a sanctuary city, of why changing this. It was a big U-turn. I mean, on Fox News, Adams even said that he has had an epiphany that something needs to change about the whole migrant situation. So in my personal opinion, I think the polls are probably sagging. The poll numbers are probably explaining why he's doing this. The city council doesn't care, but they really should, because many New Yorkers are just sick and tired of the migrant crisis. So Adams is now considering an executive action to address violent offenders. I think he's kind of desperate. He wants to end this now. He doesn't want this migrant situation to keep dragging on. It's costing so much money for New York City. New York is one of the wealthiest places in the world. Its GDP is higher than some countries, and New York is already going broke. Now, there's also other big news pieces, like a curfew recently was implemented at the migrant shelter at Randall's Island, and it's just a massive powder keg, right? You got Mayor Adams saying that you just have people sleeping here, without much privacy. It's like a powder keg. People are crammed in conditions. People are kind of frustrated. People sit around. They don't have anything to do because there's not enough job permits. And there's actually a lot of violence happening at this shelter. They actually employed more police officers to do 24-hour shifts. And now they're adding a curfew. Okay. This is just showing you guys how bad the situation is in New York City. Yes, some migrants are sleeping in nice hotels. Yes, some migrants are sleeping at the Roosevelt. But many migrants are either sleep on the streets, sleeping at illegally converted underground shelters by everyday residents of New York City who are making a lot of money from it. And there's people sleeping at these shelters. So far, New York City doesn't exactly have a good situation here. New York, Manhattan, already converted hundreds of iconic hotels into just massive migrant shelters. New York City also struggles with illegal migrants as they're dishing out free money. Guys, it's $2.3 billion. New York taxpayers are footing the bill. Not to mention $5.7 billion on no-bid contracts. Now, the big thing about New York City is they basically have $13 to $14 per migrant per day, which is way higher than SNAP benefits for poor Americans, which is $8 to $9 a day. So migrants basically get more money than U.S. citizens, which is also bringing up the talk of fairness, right? So far, Mayor Adams, a massive U-turn. He's done. He wants to call an end to the sanctuary city situation. Same thing is happening in Denver. The mayor is turning extremely unpopular, and he's also trying to limit the amount of migrants coming in. I think eventually at the end, it all backfires. I feel like if any city wants to be a sanctuary city, make sure you calculate the numbers and how many people could actually take in. And once you reach that threshold, you got to stop, right? But for New York City, Chicago, Denver, they just keep taking it in. More and more and more. They're spending more and more money until they go broke. This is why no businesses want to locate their headquarters at a sanctuary city. It's honestly very difficult in America just to find a normal city for once. A normal city that does normal things. Thankfully, it still exists, which is basically Florida, Texas, and Nevada at this point. So far, we're going to be seeing Adams, facing even more backlash as time goes on. Many people who voted him into power are frustrated. Community centers have been turned over into just massive sanctuary cities and sanctuary shelters. New Yorkers are just not happy anymore. They're kind of done. Ask any New Yorker. They don't want to do this anymore. And this is why Adams is a little bit desperate and is deciding to do an executive action. And plus, a lot of people also at the very least agree violent offenders, especially constant violent offenders, do not deserve to live in New York City. How would you guys feel about this? Right? We got this whole migrant crisis going on in New York City. How would you guys solve it? And do you guys think New York City can recover?